Before we get to all of the obvious, the border wars, and tonight we're going to talk a lot about FIFO workers, I love calling out lies from the Greens. Now, the Greens get way too good a run in the Australian media, way too free a run by the Canberra gallery, and are overrepresented when it comes to the extreme opinions that they're able to serve up with no one challenging them. Well, thankfully, we will. This is what Adam Bandt said today on this very television station about the result that the Greens got in the Eden-Monaro by-election. Have a look at this.
I think the by-election did send a clear message to the government about acting on the climate crisis.
What? There is no such message that came out of the Eden-Monaro by-election because, as I told you last night, the Greens' vote went down. The Greens' vote was off by 3%. Labor's vote was off by more. The Liberal Party and the Shooters were the ones who went up. Neither of those are all in on the same climate change hysteria that the liar Adam Bandt was willing to say today on television. And by the way, as was pointed out by Eagle Eyes, including Michael Smith on his blog today, Informal outpolled the Greens in Eden-Monaro. So the number of people who couldn't even complete a form was more popular than the supposed climate change nonsense that was being pushed by the Greens. The Greens and Labor off collectively 6%, yet apparently it was a great win for climate change advocacy. Rubbish. Literally any result would have resulted in exactly the same analysis, and it's why you should ignore them. You should also ignore every time that the Labor Party pretends that they are not tied at the hip to the extreme agenda of the Greens. Because as the leader of the Greens, Adam Bandt, said today, you can't win a spot in Parliament, including the one that you won on Saturday, without our help.
Labor held on, but Labor held on in part because of Greens' preferences, and that should send also a very clear message to Labor now that have won this seat off the back of people who want to see action on climate change, and as Labor starts to formulate its policies going to the next election, it has to have action on climate front and centre.
Delusional arrogance of this bloke. Our vote was down collectively 6%, but because you need us to get over the line, we're the tail that'll wag the dog. And Albo is going to be the puppy that will bark every single day between now and the election. He might be each way Albo on almost every other issue, but he's not going to be each way Albo about how desperately linked to electoral success the Labor Party is to the Greens.